Hey everybody, this is Jeff Antoniuk. Welcome. This is Advanced Jazz Learning Techniques video number 9.5. I snuck another one in the middle here. And this is for all musicians, all instruments. This is important stuff for everybody. Don't let the saxophone throw you off. Sax players will let you in on this little thing here. Well, I'm in a hotel room in Denton, Texas, and this is the home of the University of North Texas. I went to school here, got my undergrad degree, got my master's here at North Texas, and I was really happy to be invited back to speak in their entrepreneurship department. And it's amazing that this school and others have entrepreneurship departments for music. It's fabulous. I also went down to the University of Texas in Arlington and did some talking on entrepreneurship there. So that's why I'm out of town. That's why I'm sitting in a hotel room, and some very cool ideas and concepts came up as I was talking to all these great young musicians and artists about entrepreneurship. And it occurred to me I wanted to share one of those with you here today. If you haven't been checking out the Advanced Jazz Learning Techniques series, it was ostensibly 10 videos. I think it's now up to 14 or so. And we do have a PDF handout that goes along with most of the episodes. This particular one doesn't because I'm just throwing it in. But send me an email. Get in touch with me at jeffantoniuk@gmail.com. Pardon me. And I will send you that PDF and any of the other PDFs that go with the video. So please get in contact with me. All right, so this concept I want to talk about today, it's a fancy word called a business model. I didn't know any of this. I've never taken a business class. I've just learned what I've learned by doing. So most musicians, whether they know it or not, this was me, was involved in an volume business. Now, I'm not talking about volume like the saxophone's loud, but it is a volume business. I'm talking about a lot of things, a volume of items. Versus, I'll tell you what the versus is later. So a volume business means when I was 35 years old or so, you can do the math here, that was 15 years ago, 16 years ago. At that time, I was successful as a musician. I was teaching, 10, 20 students a week at various places, and I was adjunct at a university and a school for the arts, and I was working like 5 or 6 nights a week. And that was cool. It added up to, I think, about $32,000 a year. So this is the United States, this is North America. These numbers, of course, are going to vary like crazy. That's not a fabulous living for working 50 hours a week. So I was involved in a volume business. In other words, I accumulated over time. I was fortunate enough to accumulate a lot of students, relationships with a couple of universities, and band leaders. And I was working, and I was playing, and I was teaching. I loved it. That's why I do this. So at some point, it occurred to me, am I going to be making $32,000 a year for the rest of my life? How does this work? How can I make more money one day when I get married and have a mortgage and a kid and all that kind of stuff? There's only so many Saturday nights in the week, right? There's only so many after school teaching hours. And maybe one day the band leader will pay an extra 10 or 20 bucks per gig. None of this is adding up to anything, right? So when you're in a volume business, that's a hard business to be in. You have to, it's all about the number of gigs, the number of lessons, and you're chasing those. And the only way to get further, yes, you can raise your rates $5 a lesson one day. What is that up to at the end of the year? It's not what we're talking about. It's not appreciable, right? So now there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not making a judgment about who should make what amount of money, and this isn't even about money. I'm looking for the best creative work that feeds me and allows me to do the most good. So, we're talking about money here. That's part of what business is. But what we're going to talk about today involves money, it involves finding great creative work, and it involves feeding yourself. I know, I was going to say most, I'll continue. Most musicians I've met, over 50% in many countries around the world, get beat down by the time they're in their mid-30s. What was pretty awesome when they were 23, 10 or 12 or 15 years of that, and it's like, wow, this is, I'm getting tired of this. And that's a shame. We got into this because we love it, right? So how do we keep it fresh? How do we give ourselves some upside potential in our business and all that kind of stuff? So what would be another approach? What's opposite of the volume business? Let me have you think about it like this. Walmart. is a volume business, or any sort of big discount store. They sell everything. You can buy a watermelon, you can buy a three-piece suit, you can buy motor oil, you can buy a TV, right? At Walmart. And I love Walmart. I shop there. Nothing against Walmart. But it's volume, right? So the amount they make on every item they sell is practically nothing, but they sell 1 billion of them and it adds up. What's the opposite of that? And I would say that's a boutique business. I run a boutique. So when you come to me, you can't get almost anything. So the work that I do with adult students, I love kids and I have taught kids. I don't teach kids. I don't teach this, I don't teach that. So I set up my business as a boutique, and we can dig into that a little bit more. But the idea, pardon me, is when you run into a boutique, a handbag store, Michael Kors or Coach or something, there's like 7 items in the store. It's not 700 or 7,000. They've got like 3 handbags and 2 pairs of shoes, and that's what you get. But this was very confusing to me. This paradigm shift freaked me out the first 40 times I heard it, because I like being inclusive. I like including people. Why would I want to exclude people from learning about jazz? But business-wise, that's a bad model. Here's the thing to think about. If you're everything to everybody, you're nothing to anyone. You're not defined, right? So the further you define your style as a player, people know what to make of you. When we talk about John Coltrane and Miles Davis, to this essence, this amazing thing. I heard Jack DeJohnette play last night with Ravi Coltrane and Matt Garrison. Holy cow, what they've excluded, but then how they included. It's hard to talk about. It was an amazing concert though. Anyhow, this idea of becoming exclusive, to become exclusive, that's what we want, right? So it has a lot to do with excluding people, which is how you define who you actually are, what you stand for. This is a big deal, and it's they're here for that. They love that, and they're going to work hard for it because it's something they value. So it's a very cool model. So you've probably heard me talk in some of the other advanced jazz teacher, what are they called? Advanced Jazz Learning Techniques videos. You've heard me sort of talking around this idea. So I thought I'd want to talk to you head on about it. And I work with jazz professionals around the country, helping them make this general paradigm shift into thinking about their business this way, and then into the very specific model that I know works great for me and that I'm working with people around the country on. By the way, we're just starting with a guy in Philadelphia next week. So this model is going to be alive and running in Philadelphia, probably Sarasota, Florida as well. So very exciting stuff. So if you'd like to learn more about this, love to talk to you about it, you can certainly go to jazzteachertraining.com, and that's where I work with folks on, as I said, this overall concept, but then very specifically how to make the rubber hit the road. It's a great concept. I hope I've blown your mind. This is one of the things that at North Texas here this weekend that we talked about, and yeah, this was news to a lot of people, as it was to me when I heard about it. So I hope you'll think about it, and as always, I'd love to talk to you more about it. You can always get me at Jeff Antoniuk